Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod Science classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 9th February 2022. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 7 topics which are very much relevant from our UPSC point of view. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see the brief introduction regarding those topics. Now we are going to have our discussion. So first topic is about NEET examination. So already you know about this NEET, right? So this NEET, it is an entrance examination for medical courses for both undergraduate and as well as post graduation. Okay, so what happened? Tamil Nadu government says that this NEET examination is discrimination. Okay, it is against social justice. So here cabinet gave nod for this anti-NEET. Okay, so because of this is in news, and we are going to see each and every concept regarding this NEET, which is important from our UPSC point of view. So this article, it is important from polity, which mainly comes under GS paper 2. So from today onwards, I decided to discuss each and every topic in a very great detail. Even if you have no knowledge regarding what is this article and what is a basic or static portion regarding that, we are going to cover each and every point. And I will assure you that after watching our videos, so you are going to get concept clarity for sure, and even you are going to understand that concept very much. Okay, so one request from my side here is, please share my videos in Telegram groups and as well as for your friends. This will be very beneficial, and from today onwards I am going to assure you the conceptual clarity, and even you are going to understand that current affairs for sure, and that is going to fix in your mind as well. So from today onwards, the video, it is going to be somewhat lengthy, and because we are going to discuss static portion as well. Okay, so please be patient and try to watch the video entire video you have to watch, such that you will be getting concept clarity. And if you're watching our video analysis, you have to watch it daily, so that there will be consistency and as well as continuation of articles that is seen. And second topic, it is regarding step up agri spending, that is talking about agriculture spending. So whenever you want to boost income of farmers, infrastructure is very important. Okay, so this article mainly talking about AOI report, and I also did some research regarding this AOI report, and I also I added one image, okay, regarding this AOI. So this article is important from your economy point of view, which mainly comes under GS paper 3. And next topic, it is about rights of the weak, duties of the powerful. So actually recently our prime minister who gave one statement like, so since independence we gave importance to right. Okay, we did not focus on duties. So because of this, it made India mainly backward. So this is a statement which is given by our prime minister. So because of this, rights and duties are in use. And from your basic portion, you need to know what is this fundamental rights, what are these fundamental duties, and some important factual based things regarding this fundamental rights and fundamental duties. And you have to note a connection between what is this rights and what is this duty, whether they are interdependent or not. And next topic, it is about tax incentives for philanthropy. So philanthropy, it is nothing but like social service, like NGOs, any civil society organization, etc. So what will be the impact whenever we see there is a tax incentives for this philanthropy? So this article is also very important from your economy point of view, and even from your GS paper 2. And next topic, it is about anti-conversion law. So as you all know, many states like UP, MP, Karnataka, and recently Haryana, they also came up with this anti-conversion law. And now Haryana got a cabinet nod for this anti-conversion law. So because of this is in news, and this is important from your polity point of view. And next topic, it is about rating firms have double standards. So actually this article talking about this credit rating companies. Okay, so actually recently we came up with our union budget. So in this union budget, already we discussed different highlights of this budget speech as well. Then what happened in this union budget, government did not much focus on this fiscal consolidation. So I hope you know about what is this fiscal consolidation. So fiscal consolidation is nothing but the policies which are coming up by the government mainly to decrease the fiscal deficit. Okay, so this is called as fiscal consolidation. So this unit budget which is not focused on this fiscal consolidation. Okay, so because of this, the credit rating agencies said that so we are an in debt country. So this is important from economy point of view. And next topic is about MGNREGA. Already you know that this is one of the employment guarantee scheme which is mainly seen in rural areas but not in urban areas. And due to this COVID-19 pandemic, there is increase in the demand for this MGNREGA that is seen. But already we know that from last 3 to 4 months onwards, there are many reports coming up regarding the many states. They already use the 100% funds which are allocated for this MGNREGA scheme, and even some states they are having negative balance sheet. Okay, and but in this union budget there is decreasing of allocation. There is 25% of decreasing of allocation. Okay, so because of this panel which is mainly questioning regarding budget quota of this MGNREGA. So this article it is important from governance regarding schemes, policies of government. Okay, schemes, programs and policies of government. And this topic was also important from your mains as well as prelims. So these are the topics now we are going to have our discussion. So now let us try to start our discussion with the quote. So this quote, today's quote is based on environment. Okay, environment is also one of the important subject, and you will be getting like around 20 questions in your prelims, and even in your mains you will be having greater contribution for this environment and ecology. And this is also one favorite area where we are seeing climate change which is highly in news. So because of this climate change, there are many impacts that we are seeing across the world and even in India. So here this climate change will be the one of the important topics, so that you can expect many questions in your mains and even in your essay. So because of this, you need to prepare with this quotes regarding environment for sure. So first quote regarding this environment here is, the environment and the economy, they are really both two sides of the same coin. And even in your ethics, which mainly comes under your GS paper 4. So in this ethics subject also you will be having one topic called as environmental ethics. And even you will be having many dilemmas, that is the theory of double effect. Okay, so in the theory of double effect also you will be coming up with this environment versus economy like that. So to answer this GS paper 4 questions, and even in your essay and in your mains, so this environment it is very much useful and you have to prepare the quotes. So here this quote says that if you're taking the coin, so coin will be having two sides, right? So if you're taking this coin, the one side will be economy and one side will be your environment. So the environment and economy, they are really both sides of the same coin. So if we cannot focus sustainably on our environment, we can't sustain ourselves. So what is the meaning of this quote? So whenever we are not focusing on environment, that means whenever we are not taking any measures to save our environment means, so there will be the drastic impact that is seen on economy as well. So for example due to the climate change, we are experiencing droughts. Okay, so we are also experiencing floods, and we are also seeing unseasonal rainfall. So because of all these events which are mainly caused because of negligence that we are showing regarding our environment, and finally that is having the impact on our economy. So because of droughts, because of floods, what happened, there will be the impact that is seen on agriculture. Not only agriculture, in every sector we can see the impact. So because of this, it will be having some negative impact on environment, on economy. So because of this, we cannot sustain ourselves. So this is the meaning of this quote, and you can use this quote whenever you are writing any case study regarding the theory of double effect of economy versus environment. Okay, so this is about this quote today. And now let us try to see the first topic. So first topic, it is regarding NEET. Okay, NEET, it is entrance test for medical courses, for example, even for undergraduation and even post-graduation. So NEET is discriminatory against social justice. So now let us try to see this article in a very great detail, and we are going to extract the points from this article which is important and we can directly use in our mains. So ultimate our goal it is to clear our UPSC, right? So it is unnecessary regarding reading all the articles which are present in the newspaper, and we will be focusing on articles which are relevant from our UPSC point of view, and which are very much which are having high possible of chances to get in the examination, right? So actually this article talking about this NEET exemption bill. Okay, recently Tamil Nadu Chief Minister already introduced this bill in the Legislative Assembly, and this bill mainly passed. After passing of this bill in the House, they will be going to governor for assent. Okay, so governor have the power to reserve some bills, okay, to reserve some bills for the presidential assent. So this is the process. So if you have completed your chapter of state legislation in Lakshmikant, then you will be easily knowing about this process of passing of bill in state legislature. Okay, so Tamil Nadu Chief Minister now mainly accusing the governor of Tamil Nadu for not doing constitutional duty of immediately forwarding the state's anti-NEET bill to center for getting presidential assent. So here now Tamil Nadu Chief Minister saying that, so the bill, this anti-NEET bill passed in the both houses, and it mainly moved forward to the governor for assent, and this governor reserved the bill for the presidential assent. But this now this governor is not doing the constitutional duty, and he is not forwarding the state's anti-NEET bill for this presidential assent. So this is the context why this is a news. So if you're talking about background, so what is a background? So here you need to know about what is this NEET examination. For example, many students who are coming from the art background and non-science background, they might not be knowing about this NEET. So actually this NEET, it is a national eligibility entrance test. Okay, so this is an entrance test. So it is mainly for the All India pre-medical test, and this is one of the qualifying tests for MBBS and as well as BDS programs in Indian medical and as well as dental colleges. So actually this examination which is conducted by National Testing Agency. So if you are talking about our civil service examination which is conducted by UPSC, so like that, this NEET, it is conducted by this National Testing Agency. So if you are talking about what are the arguments which is against the NEET, so why Tamil Nadu government want to scrap this NEET? So first one here is, so first and the foremost reason regarding why it is against NEET, because so NEET undermine the diverse societal representation in the MBBS and high medical studies. It is mainly favoring affluent classes. So for example, if there is a family, it is a poor family. If there is a poor and as well as if you see other family, it is a rich family. So this rich family can be offered for the coaching center, right? So this NEET examination need a coaching, okay, because it is a very tough examination. So even I also attempted this examination, so I know about the standards of this NEET. So to crack this NEET, we need coaching, okay. But if you're talking about this poor family, they cannot afford. So because of this, the students who is coming from this poor family, they cannot afford coaching. So because of this, whenever this poor and as well as rich, they are going for the same examination, they are writing examination. So rich already having the coaching, and they will be having the better understanding of concepts and the questions how they will be asked in the NEET. So because of this, what happened, these affluent people, they will be going to crack this NEET examination, and they will be entering or they will be getting seats in this medical courses. So because of this, author mainly says that NEET, which is mainly undermining the diverse societal representation. So it is mainly favoring only the affluent class, that is the rich people. And social groups most affected were the students of Tamil medium, and as well as students who are coming from this rural background of government schools. They are and the people who are having the parental income of less than 2.5 lakh per annum. So these social groups are affected more. Okay, so first one here is students who are coming from Tamil medium, because this NEET examination will be in English. So because of the students, especially from this Tamil medium, they are affected. And students who are coming from the rural background of especially from the government schools, they do not have proper awareness regarding this NEET. And even the parents' income, that is who are the poor people. So the parental income, that is a family income which is less than 2.5 lakh per annum. So these are the people who are mainly affected because of this NEET examination. So if NEET it is mainly continued, then the healthcare system of state would be severely affected, and there may not be enough doctors for the primary health centers and as well as state-run hospitals. So this is a cause of concern. Okay, so only the affluent class people, they can enter this medical courses, and the poor, they are left behind. So because of this, whenever it is continued, means the number of doctors from this Tamil Nadu, that will be decreased. So it will be affecting the number of enough doctors in the primary healthcare centers and even state-run hospitals. So these are the important reasons that are led for the anti-NEET. So if we are talking about further more challenges regarding this passing of this anti-NEET bill here is, so if you are talking about central laws, okay, if you are talking about central laws, whenever state government which want to make any changes in this central laws, and as well as if you are talking about concurrent list, so in central laws and as well as concurrent list, if at all the state government want to bring any change, means it need especially clearance. It need especially clearance from the center. So it is very difficult task. And even whenever the state law contradicts with the central law on the same subjects, as you all know, central law will be prevailing. So it is also one cause of concern. These are the two important challenges regarding passing of this anti-NEET bill. So why the bill to scrap this NEET? And recently Assembly passed this bill based on the recommendations of high level committee, and this committee mainly led by retired judge, that is A.K. Ranjan. So A.K. Ranjan committee gave the recommendation to mainly scrap this bill, scrap this NEET. And this bill will allow the admission to the medical courses that is based on the 12th class marks. That is after +2, after intermediate, you will be going to get your academic marks. So based on that academic marks, this bill says that this seat should be given based on this 12th class marks, but not on NEET. Okay, and state assembly also says that this NEET, it is not a fair method or equitable method for admissions, because it is mainly favoring the rich and elite sections of society. Okay, so those people, they can afford coaching. So these are some important things that you need to remember. Okay, so I hope it is very much clear now. Now let us try to see the next topic. It is regarding step up agri spending, boost farm incomes. So this article which is talking about is agriculture spending. So this concept is not only effective for this agriculture, but even if you're talking about any sector. So whenever there is increasing of infrastructure or increasing of spending, then the outcomes will be more. Okay, if you're talking about this farm incomes especially, so we have an ambitious goal of doubling of farmers income by 2022. So if you want to increase the farmers income, we need to go for increasing of spending. So this is the one thing which mainly said in this article. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So actually this topic which mainly focused on this AOI, that is Agriculture Orientation Index. Okay, it is Agriculture Orientation Index. So whenever you want to write any answer regarding agriculture and agriculture related spending, so please try to quote this index, that is Agriculture Orientation Index. So this will be very handy, and it will be substantiating your argument as well. So this topic is important from your economy, which mainly comes in a GS paper 3. So if we're talking about context, why it is in news? Because recently union budget came into picture, and in this union budget, if you're talking about especially budgetary allocation in this agriculture sector, so it is mainly increased by 4.4%. Okay, so in agriculture there is increasing of agriculture budgetary allocation here is like 4.4%. But on another side, if you're talking about inflation means nothing but increasing of price of goods and services in the market. That condition is called inflation. So already we studied about this WPI, wholesale price index, consumer price index. So there is increasing of inflation that is seen in market. So if we're talking about this current inflation rate here, it is like 5.5 to 6%, and the target of inflation should be like 4 plus or minus, that is 2 to 6% of inflation that can be maintained in the country. But here inflation, it is like 5.5 to 6%. On another side, budgetary allocation which mainly increased to 4.4%. So comparing with this inflation, the budgetary allocation is low. So this is the one cause of concern. So if we are talking about the data regarding this agriculture spending, so AFAO, that is Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations, it came with a report for 2001 to 2019, which mainly says that India is among top 10 countries. Okay, India is among top 10 countries in terms of government spending, especially in the field of agriculture. If you're talking about total amount of agriculture spending, it is around 7.3 percentage. Okay, 7.3 percentage of agriculture spending that is mainly seen. But even though it is 7.3 percentage of agriculture spending, so this spending it is very much low when we are comparing with this several low income countries. So those several low income countries like Malawi, Mali, Bhutan, Nepal, and even some upper income countries like Guyana and China, they are spending much more than compared to that of India. So this is one cause of concern. So if we are talking about data which is given according to this agriculture orientation index, so what is this agriculture orientation index? Which is mainly focusing on this government expenditure in this agriculture sector. Okay, so if you are talking about value, that is 1. So if the value it is more than 1, so more than 1 means agriculture sector which is mainly receiving a higher share of government spending which is related to this economic value. That means how much amount of this agriculture which is contributing to this GDP of that so and so country, and how much amount of that country which is spending in this agriculture sector, that is called as mainly, that is one important thing which is mainly focused on this agriculture orientation index. So then value it is more means it is performing good, it is spending more, right? So if you see, this is a world map, it is mainly showing about this agriculture spending by so and so countries government. So highest that is seen in this Australia and even in these European countries, and we can see less which is seen in these African countries, and India it is like above 1 or equal to 1 that we can see here. So if you're talking about this agriculture orientation index, so what is this index? Which is mainly developed as a part of goal 0, that is sustainable development goal 2, that is zero hunger. So if you're talking about sustainable development goals, we are having 17 developmental goals, so you have to by heart those. So that will be very important in your means and even in your essay. So in this sustainable development goal 2, which mainly talks about zero hunger, that means we need to focus on this agriculture. So when we want to increase this agriculture production on one side, we need to increase this agriculture spending. So because of this agriculture orientation index which came into existence, and this agriculture orientation index which was developed as a part of this goal 2, that is mainly talking about zero hunger. And this sustainable development goal 2, which mainly emphasizing regarding increasing the investment, it is mainly focusing on increasing the investment in the rural infrastructure. So why rural infrastructure? We can see agriculture, it is a prominent economic activity in these rural areas, and even it is focusing on agriculture research. Okay, so because of a new pest and because of a new technology that we can use, and even we can talk about drone technology that we can use to increase this agriculture productivity, and we need to focus on extension of this agriculture services, and even we can focus on this development of technology, and all these will be helpful for overall development of our agriculture productivity. So whenever agriculture productivity is improved, then we can also fight against this hunger, right? And next one is, so if you're talking about this agriculture orientation index, it mainly measures the ratio between the government spending, okay, so how much amount government is spending towards agriculture sector, and how much contribution that is coming from this agriculture sector to this GDP of that so and so country. So this is the one thing which is mainly measured by this agriculture orientation index. So in this way, this index, it is one of the important thing which mainly reflects about the spending of the government, okay, and as well as it is also going to talk about how much amount or how much contribution that is coming from this so and so sector for the GDP of that country. So this is about this agriculture orientation index. And if you're talking about whenever we are comparing India with the other countries, okay, so India's agriculture orientation index, it is one of the lowest when we are seeing in the Asia. So if you are seeing in the Asia, India's agriculture orientation index, it is lowest when we are comparing with other countries which are middle income countries and as well as upper income countries. So if you are focusing on the data, okay, if you are focusing on the data, so China, if you are comparing with China, it is doing remarkably very well, and it is spending very much high in this agriculture. And even some countries like Republic of Korea, that is South Korea, and the value of this AOI of South Korea, which is greater than India. Okay, and if you are talking about some lower income countries of Africa, for example Zambia, they are also having some commendable spending in agriculture sector despite of landlocked country as well. So if you're talking about India's rank, it is like a 38th rank in the world. So these are the some important data that you need to make a note. And if you're talking about outcome, so whenever there is increasing of spending, so what will be the outcome that is seen? So we can compare this outcome of India with other countries. Then you can understand what is the importance of this agriculture spending. So if we are talking about enormous spending in this agriculture sector, so which is mainly done by these East Asian countries. So in these East Asian countries, whenever they are going for higher spending, so the outcome which is also seen there is high crop yield. Okay, so if you are talking about total cereal yield in India, it is only around 3,283 kilograms per hectares. But if you are talking about an average production in Asia, it is like 4,225 kgs. So because of increase in expenditure, so they are mainly getting higher crop yield than compared to that of India. And East Asian countries, they are also having highest cereal yield of like 6,327 kilograms per hectare. And if you are focusing on China, so in China, the average land holding size is very small when we are comparing to that of India, but the performance is very high when we are comparing with that of India. Okay, so this is the data. And now let us try to talk about other significant reductions. So where we are seeing there is decreasing of expenditure. So this article saying that yes, expenditure of government in this agriculture sector is decreasing, but where exactly? So if you are talking about schemes or different schemes in India which are mainly focusing on this agriculture. So first one is Pradhan Mantri Asha, that is Pradhan Mantri Annadata Ay Sanrakshan Abhiyan, that is PM Asha. So in this PM Asha scheme, there is decreasing of budgetary allocation. Okay, so normally allocated amount here is like 400 crores in year 2021 to 2022, but there is a significant reduction in this budgetary allocation for this PM Asha scheme. And even there are many schemes that come up by the states, for example in the form of welfare schemes, and in those schemes also there is decreasing of budgetary allocation. And even if you're talking about central government schemes, so in those schemes also there are several implications that is mainly seen. There is decreasing of expenditure, so that there is decreasing of performance is also seen in this sector. And even if you're talking about allocation for rural development, so allocation for rural development is like 5.59% in the previous budget, and now it is decreased to 5.23%. And even for some schemes like Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Kisan, and even Pradhan Mantri Kisan Mandan Yojana. So in these schemes also there is decreasing of allocation of funds. So in these areas we can see there is decreasing of fund allocation. So apart from that, what can be the measures that can be taken? So you can also take this as a way forward. So what is a way forward? So I will be giving you some general idea. So whenever there is a decreasing of spending, means we need to increase the spending, and we need to focus on this irrigation facilities, and we need to focus for the better policies and better implementation of schemes, right? And we need to also focus on this transportation facilities. Transportation is very important for agriculture. So in these areas we can go for improvement. So now let us try to see what are the things which are given in our paper. So first one here is we need to go for intensification of government spending. So we need to go for increasing of government spending for the first thing, and we need to go for attaining of our sustainable developmental goals that should be focused on zero hunger and even increasing of agriculture growth and farmer income. And we need to focus on irrigation facilities. So whenever there is proper irrigation, we can go for increasing of sowing, so and so there will be the better productivity. And next one is we need to focus on urban infrastructure and development of national highways, and also we need to focus on improvement of rural infrastructure facilities, transportation facilities, cold storage rooms, etc. Right? So these are the some important things that can be done. So this is about this topic in detail, and now let us move on to next topic. So title says rights of the weak, duties of the powerful. So I am going to give a clear cut details, or idea regarding what is the concept of duties and what is the concept of rights. So this article is at most important, so please don't neglect this article, and whatever the things I am saying, so please try to focus, and if you are listening carefully, then this concept will be fixed in your mind for sure. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So actually author says that here rights are there and duties are there. So what are these rights and what are these duties? We are going to discuss that. Okay, please wait for 2 to 3 minutes. And if you're talking about author mainly says that rights and duties. Okay, we have rights, we have duties. Rights and duties, they are conceptually linked to one another. So we can't go for imposing of rights without duties, and we can't expect the duties of the citizens without providing them rights. So there are no rights without duties, and there are no duties without rights. So these are linked with one another. If a person have the right to do something, then it is necessary implies that someone else have a corresponding duty to ensure that it is not violated. Okay, so if any person have the right, then what happen, other persons will be having the duties. Okay, they should not violate that. Okay, so in this way we can see that these rights and duties, they are complement to each other, so they cannot be isolated. So if you're talking about rights and duties go hand in hand, so how? So if you're talking about ideas of Mahatma Gandhi here, so Mahatma Gandhi observed that real rights are the results of the performance of duty. Okay, so real rights, are results of performance of duty. So this is the one quote that you can also give whenever you are writing answer regarding rights and duties. So rights and duties, they are closely related and they cannot be separated from one another. For every right there is a corresponding duty, it is there. Okay, so if you have any right, okay, so if you have, for example, to understand this right and duty, how they are corresponding with each other means, if you take, you are in a family, and for example you have right to spend money. Okay, so in your family you have right to spend money. So if you have a right to spend money, you will be also have a duty like you have to earn money. So if you earn money, only then you have the right to spend that money. Okay, so in this way we can say like rights and duties, they are complement to each other. We cannot separate them. Okay, we cannot separate them from one another. So according to Harold Lasky also, one man's right is also his duty. So he says that one man's right is also his duty. For example, if state gives a right to life to a citizen, it also imposes obligation on him to not to expose his life to dangers, as well as to respect the life of others. Okay, so it is a duty. Whenever you are getting the right, that is right to life, then you will be also having the duty, right, like you have to respect the life of others, and you have not to expose his life into danger. So these are the duties on you. If you are getting one right, you will be having the duties also. So if you are talking about duties and rights, follow different logic, because in our constitution we have both these rights and as well as duties. So in our Indian constitution, it mainly provides the citizens with the fundamental rights, and our constitution also lists about these fundamental duties which are mainly following these rights. So if you're talking about the rights, okay, we will be having like 6 fundamental rights, and these fundamental rights are present in our part 3 of our constitution, and these are enforceable, right? So if anyone who is violating your rights, you will be having the article 32, which mainly talks about writs as well. So if you're talking about fundamental duties, so these fundamental duties are present in the part 4A of our Indian constitution, so which mainly included in article 51A. Actually, these fundamental duties are not present in our original constitution. They are mainly added. Okay, they are mainly added based on this forensic committee recommendations. Okay, so these are the some important basic things that you need to remember regarding what is this fundamental rights and what are these fundamental duties. So now let us try to understand what is the concept of duty, why these duties are introduced in our Indian constitution through an amendment. So if you're talking about this concept of duties, as citizens, there exists a wide range of duties that bind us in everyday life. So in every day-to-day life, we are having many duties, and these duties, they are owned both to states and as well as to individuals. So we have to do some duties for our family, and even we have to do some duties for our state as well. Okay, but for example, if you're talking about some important duties that we are doing here is, we are mainly paying the taxes. Okay, we are mainly refraining, that is coming out of doing some violence against the fellow citizens, and we are also following other laws, and we are following the laws which are enacted by our parliament. So these are some legal duties that we are doing here. So whenever these duties are breached, okay, whenever these duties are breached, then there will be the financial consequences that we can see. So whenever you are not following the traffic rules, or whenever you are not paying taxes, then you will be imposed some fines, right? So even though if you are parking your vehicle not in a non-parking area, then what happened, traffic police people, they will be imposing the fines. And if you're driving your vehicle without any helmet, then there will be the fine that will be imposed. So whenever your duties you are not doing properly, and whenever you are violating the duties, then there will be the financial consequences like fines, or we can say like punitive measures. Sometimes you can also go for taking into the jail, like imprisonment is also will be the punishment sometimes. So the breach of these legal duties mainly triggers some financial consequences, right? So duties mainly follow a simple logic that peaceful coexistence requires a degree of self-sacrifice. Okay, so whenever, if you're talking about our society, we will be having a different range of diversity that is seen in our society. So in our society, there are different caste people, they are living together, and different sections of society like old people, young people, youth, children, they are mainly living together. So because of this, if we want to lead a peaceful coexistence, so we need to have some degree of sacrifice. So because of this, we have a set of sanctions on us, and we have to perform some duties. So because of this, these duties are introduced in our Indian Constitution through Constitutional Amendment. So if you're talking about what is the concept of rights, to understand this concept of rights, why these rights are introduced in our Indian Constitution, so you need to know two important things. So first one is dehumanization, second one is anti-hierarchy. So first one is dehumanization and as well as anti-hierarchy in India. So these are the two important principles that you need to understand. Then you will appreciate why these fundamental rights are introduced in our Indian Constitution. So first let us talk about what is this against dehumanization or anti-dehumanization. So if you're talking about our framers of our Indian Constitution, so they mainly deliberately gave some fundamental rights, right? So they said that we need some basic human rights that should be present in our Indian Constitution, and they call them as fundamental rights. And these rights are very important, mainly to lead life with dignity and as well as equality, mainly to lead the life with dignity and equality, and we need these fundamental rights. So the necessity for fundamental rights in India, which mainly originated that whatever the experience that we got from this colonial regime. So during this British period, actually Indians they do not have proper rights, and those rights of people, they are mainly violated. So because of whatever the experiences that we got from our colonial regime, so our framers of Constitution, they said that we need to ensure some basic human rights for the citizens, and they incorporated these fundamental rights in our Indian Constitution. And second concept, it is against hierarchy. So as you all know that in our Indian society, which mainly divided based on gender, caste, religion, that means we are living together, that is different religion people, different gender, and as well as different caste people, that we are together living in a society. So because of this, these fundamental rights at a basic level, they will provide some protection of all the citizens. Okay, they will going to protect all the citizens. Okay, so because of this, these fundamental rights are incorporated in our Indian Constitution. And if you're talking about those 6 fundamental rights, are right to equality, okay, and right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, culture and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. So I want to ask you a simple basic question is, which are the articles related with these fundamental rights in the Constitution? Let me know which are the articles, right? And next one is fundamental duties. So these are the fundamental duties. Actually yesterday I asked one question regarding the fundamental duties. So because of this, I also added this fundamental duties of Indian Constitution. Then you can easily go through that, because the video it is going to be lengthy if I explain all these fundamental duties. Okay, so please look after this once in the PDF. And if you're talking about background, why these rights and duties are in news, what is the present context? So our Prime Minister claimed that people have been talking about the rights since independence. So since we got independence, people, that is citizens of India, they are mainly talking about these rights and they are mainly ignoring the duties. So because of this, our country became very weak. So this is a statement, it is a controversial statement I can say, which given by our Prime Minister. So now let us try to talk about what are the concerns regarding the statement which is given by our Prime Minister. So as you all know that India mainly evolved as a democratic society, okay, and this democratic society which mainly focused on expansion of rights, because whatever the experience that we got from this colonial regime, so makers of our constitution, they are mainly focused on this fundamental rights, for example civil rights, political rights, economical rights, and as well as cultural rights. So these rights that will going for the leading empowerment of the people. And if you are talking about these rights and duties, they are complement to each other, okay. So these rights and duties, they will come from the freedom. So next important point that you need to remember here is, here if you are talking about the important obligation of individual citizens, they need to collective pursuit of the nation, and they can be meaningful when their rights are guaranteed by the state. So whatever the rights are mainly guaranteed by the constitution, and these rights should be guaranteed by the state, such that then the obligation of individual citizens will be there, they will be also doing their duty. So citizens already perform a wide range of duties, such as for example paying of taxes, adhering to the criminal laws and as well as the civil laws which are present, and they are paying fines, and even they are taking part in the elections as well, okay. And here to claim that people, they are only or making talking about rights while ignoring the duties, it is untrue, okay. So this is the one important thing that you need to remember, because people, they are already paying duties and they are following the laws which are mainly passed in the parliament, and they are also adhering to the civil and as well as criminal laws, they are paying fines. So these are already duties which are mainly doing by the citizens. So what are the statement which is given by our Prime Minister, it is untrue, because they are not ignoring their duties, they are mainly making some demands for their rights, but on the same side they are also following their duties. And the emphasis on the duties along with this de-emphasis of the rights also raises the threat of moving into this pre-republican norms in the social relations. So citizens has a right to use the public road, they will be having the right to do duty to obey the traffic rules. Whenever they want to use this public road, then they have to follow this traffic rules as well. So if they are violating this traffic rules, means there will be imposition of fine that can be seen, and whenever the fines are imposing, the people, they are mainly paying these fines as well, right. So this is the one important thing, and I want to give you idea, and I gave you idea so that you can build your base and you can come up with your own perceptions regarding these rights and as well as duties. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding tax incentives for philanthropy. So actually first you have to know what is this tax incentives. So whenever you understand this concept of this tax incentives, then you can understand this article much more detail and it will be much more clear. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 3 under economy. Now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you are talking about central theme, it mainly says that there is a need of systemic study of impact of tax incentives on charitable donations. So on these charitable donations, for example, any company which is donating for these NGOs, okay, so what will be the impact whenever the tax incentives will be given from the government? So if you're talking about what is the meaning of this tax incentives? So tax incentives is nothing but it is one of the government measure. Okay, tax incentive, it is a government measure that is intended to encourage individuals and businesses to spend money for or saving the money by reducing the amount of tax that they have to pay. For example, if I'm is okay, if you're taking me as example, so I'm getting so and so amount as a salary. For example, I'm getting so and so amount as a salary. So if I am getting salary which is more than 5 lakhs, means I have to pay some amount of tax to the government. Okay, so after the money that I am getting, I will be donating that money to a charitable trust or for example any NGO. Then what happened, I will be showing that I am getting income which is less than 5 lakh rupees, so I am exempting the tax. Okay, so actually this is the concept that you need to remember. Okay, but what happened here, whenever the government which is giving some tax incentives, that means government which is mainly saying that you have to pay less tax if you are donating so and so amount of your income for charitable trust, then this is called as tax incentive. Tax incentive, it is a government measure that is intended to encourage individuals and as well as businesses to spend more money to save money by reducing the amount of tax that they have to pay. So the amount of the tax that they have to pay, whenever the government which is giving incentive like to decrease the tax, whenever they are mainly going for giving money or spending money for charitable trust, etc., this is called as tax incentives. So now let us try to see what is the news and what is the need, what author want to say. So if you want to donate any money to charity, that means to get the tax rebate or not. So first question which mainly asked by the author here is, do people donate the money to charity to get a tax rebate? The answer from these donors, it is no, because they donate the money because they believe in the cause they support. Okay, so they mainly focus on the quality of the work that some NGOs, not all the NGOs I am saying, but some NGOs, they are mainly trying to provide some quality of services. So because of this, some committed citizens, they will going for donating of money to that so and so charity. So do tax incentives have any impact on this charitable donation? So what will be the impact that is seen on this charitable donation? So this is again one more question. So recently one study which is mainly done regarding this tax incentives across 12 countries, even including India. So this study mainly done by this CSIP. So CSIP mainly stands for Center for Social Impact and Philanthropy. Okay, Center for Social Impact and Philanthropy, which mainly conducted study of impact of this tax incentives across 12 countries. So here what happened, this study mainly says that whenever the tax incentives are given by the government, then there will be the significant impact that is seen on this charitable donations. Okay, but if you're talking about Indian context, there is no proper study still now that is done regarding this Indian context. Okay, so this is the one important thing that mainly said. And if you're talking about studies which is conducted in UK and as well as US, so they mainly studied, and the important final report that mainly says that, so whenever there are some tax incentive provisions that are coming up, then there will be the increasing or sometimes or decreasing that is seen in these charitable donations. It is mainly based on this tax incentives. And if you're talking about many NGOs, especially in India, they operate with a budget which is very much less than 15 lakh per year, according to this data which is released in 2019. And if you're talking about this distribution of NGOs, they are also skewed. Okay, so skewed means the less amount of concentration of these NGOs that is seen, and some NGOs are mainly seen in some states like Uttar Pradesh, and most of the NGOs are working in the areas of health and as well as education. And even there are very small NGOs are present, especially in some remote areas and rural areas. So the what are the work that is done by those NGOs, it is less recognized. And the tax incentive status may still be important for establishing legal recognitions with the community and even government entities and donors. Okay, so they are not getting much tax incentives, and they are not getting some funds from the any communities or any government entities, and even donors are not much wish to give the donations. Okay, so because of this, what happened, so if you're talking about why there is a need for tax incentives and what are the role which is played by NGO. So if you're talking about any civil society organization or NGOs, they are playing an historical role, okay, which is irreplaceable in our social development. So because these NGOs, they will be coming up with the cause, okay, and they will be forcing something. So because of this, what happened, the government will be coming up with the changes regarding the demands of these NGOs. So because of this, so that will be leading to the social development of our country. So if you're talking about tax incentives and what will be the effect of that tax incentives, so the most important role of this tax incentive, it is regulatory role and as well as legal link between state and as well as civil society. Okay, so whenever there is a link between the state and as well as civil society is there, that will be having some signaling effect in our society. So it mainly denotes that state supports this philanthropic activity and through its revenue foregone, actively encourages private actors to engage in these public programs. Okay, so whenever a state which is mainly supporting this philanthropic activity, that means funding for these NGOs and as well as civil society organization, so finally it will also encourage this private sector people to by participating in this public problems as well. So here finally author says that to get a proper conclusion, so we need to have a systematic study regarding impact of this tax incentives. It is a need of hour now in India. So this is a gist of this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding anti-conversion bill. Haryana cabinet not for anti-conversion bill. So this article, it is important from your polity point of view, which mainly comes under GS paper 2. So now let us try to talk about what is the context. So context here is Haryana cabinet approved this draft of this Haryana Prevention of Unlawful Conversion of Religion Bill 2022. So actually there were a number of incidents that happened in this Haryana regarding death of a girl for forcing to convert into Islam. Okay, and even there are many issues which are happening in many states. So because of this, Haryana cabinet came up with this anti-conversion bill, and recently cabinet also gave the nod for this draft Haryana anti-conversion bill 2022. Actually this bill which mainly seeks to prohibit religious conversions. Okay, so not all religious conversions, like those can be done by misinterpretation, force, and even undue influence, coercion, allurement, etc. So through these methods, whenever the conversion is done, so those religious conversions will be prohibited. And if you are talking about some details regarding this anti-conversion bill, so this bill, it is on the lines of recent anti-conversion laws which mainly passed in other states, which mainly proposes to make conversion by the marriage an offense. Okay, so whenever if you want to go for marrying other person who is belong to another religion, so if you want to go in for marriage here, for example, I can talk about love jihad. So because of this love jihad, one famous pair of IAS, that is Tina Dabi, also got a divorce. Okay, also they got divorce. Okay, because of this love jihad itself. That means whenever there is a love which is between the two religions people, okay, then if they want to go for marriage, the groom will be saying that you have to go for conversion of religion, right? So it is one of the offense that we can say, and it also prescribes a higher punishment. It also prescribes a higher punishment for conversion of minors, women, and as well as members of a scheduled caste and as well as scheduled tribes. And this draft bill which mainly states of objectives that the constitution mainly confers on each individual the fundamental right to profess, practice, and propagate religion. Whenever there is a forced conversion, means it is mainly violating this right. So because of the states are coming with this type of anti-conversion bill. So not only Haryana but even Karnataka, UP and MP, they also came up with this anti-conversion bill. So if you're talking about what is a rationale, okay, what is the rationale behind this enactment of this anti-conversion laws? So it is mainly violating our fundamental right of freedom of religion, and next one is there is also some threats for forceful conversion, and there is also problem of inducement or allurement, and even religion conversion is not a fundamental right? So these are some important things that you need to remember. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding rating firms have double standards. So actually this article which is talking about is credit rating agencies. So you need to know some basic facts regarding what is this credit rating agencies. Okay, and what is this credit rating? Okay, if you are a beginner, you have to know about this, and we are going to discuss that as well. So if you see context, it mainly says that taking on global rating agencies, okay, taking on global rating agencies for terming India the most indebted emerging market, and claiming that union budget lacked clarity on fiscal consolidation plans. So recently our finance minister introduced this budget of 2022 to 2023, right, in the parliament. So in parliament our finance minister introduced this budget, and here recent budget which is mainly not focused much on fiscal consolidation. So because of this, now different rating agencies are saying that India, it is a most indebted country, that is it is having the more debts. So because of this, the rating of this country will be decreased. So whenever the rating of the country will be decreased, that will be having more effect on investments. We are not going to get more investment. So because of this, we are not getting investments, means that will be having some hindrance in employment and as well as economic activity. So already due to this COVID-19 pandemic, there is loss also that is mainly seen, that is economic contraction that is seen. So when you want to go for revival of our economy, we need to go for attracting of investments. But whenever these credit rating agencies are giving a very bad rank, means we can't get much investments. So this is the one cause of concern. So because of this, in retaliation, so finance secretary, he mainly said that, so these credit rating agencies, they mainly adopted double standards. Okay, double standards in their assessment of emerging countries and as well as developed markets. So they are having different strategies for giving ratings for emerging economies and as well as for developed countries. So this is the one important statement which is given by our finance secretary. So if we're talking about further more details, it mainly says that India in fact has one of the best DDP to best debt to GDP ratios, even when you are comparing with some developed countries like USA and as well as Japan. And here finance secretary also said that, so we are having a natural tendency to grow much faster than these developed countries like USA and as well as Japan in these times. And he also focused that there was no ambiguity in the center's fiscal guide. Okay, we are going to get the target of this deficit of 4.5% of GDP by 25 to 26. So we are not going to be an in-debt country. Okay, so this is the one important thing which is mainly said. And if you are talking about some facts, okay, if you are talking about some facts regarding what is this credit rating, so credit rating means nothing but assessment of credit worthiness. For example, to understand this, if I am a lender, I want to lend money to some borrower. So before lending my money to so and so borrower, I need to know about the financial status of that person, whether whatever the money he is taking, he has a capability to repay or not. So how many assets are present. So like that, I need to know about some information regarding the borrower before I am lending this money, right? So in the same way, if any country want to invest in the country, so that investor need to know about whether what are the investment that he is investing in that so and so country, he are going to get the returns or profits or not. So that is in short called as credit rating. So credit rating is nothing but assessment of credit worthiness of borrower in general terms. Okay, whenever he is mainly investing in so and so country or so and so individual, whether that person is going to repay that or not, whether he is credit worthy or not. So that is the thing which mainly said under this credit rating. Okay, so this credit rating will be given by credit rating agencies. So they are like companies. Okay, so they are like companies that rates the debitors on the basis of their ability to pay back their interest and as well as loan amount on the time. Okay, so this is about these credit rating agencies. Actually, these credit rating agencies, they were set up mainly to provide some independent evidence. They want to provide some independent evidence and research-based opinion regarding ability and willingness of issuer to meet the debt service obligations. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding MGNREGA. So panel asked questions, budget quota for this MGNREGA. So why it is in news? In this recent union budget, there is decreasing of allocation of 25% for this MGNREGA. So because of this, now parliamentary panel will is asking question regarding this MGNREGA budgetary allocation. So now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So what is the context? So context here is a week after this MGNREGA, okay, a week after this MGNREGA scheme, which mainly received a budget allocation of 25% lower than the previous year revised estimates. Okay, so if you're talking about this MGNREGA scheme, okay, so this MGNREGA scheme which mainly received a budget allocation which is 25% lower than the previous revised estimates. So previous year, when we are comparing with the previous year, this year it got the 25% less budgetary allocations. So here a parliamentary panel which mainly pulled up by the government, which is noting that center budget estimates for this flagship rural job scheme, which is mainly having the demand, which is mainly proved that there is increase in the demand for this scheme. From the last 4 to 5 years, it had got less budgetary allocations. So if we're talking about details, actually this budgetary allocation of this scheme of such enormous magnitude should be done in a more pragmatic manner. Okay, rather than decreasing of the funds, they need to go for increasing of funds, because last year there is a no proper payment of wages, and even material share. So material share means nothing but if they want to go for building of a school or building of a dam, so they need some material like cement and as well as bricks, etc. So for that material also this budget allocation will be going to pay for that as well. So for material share and as well as payment, there is no proper payment that is seen. So instead of this, why they are going for decreasing of allotment for this scheme? So this is one important question. And even Parliamentary Standing Committee on Rural Development, which mainly spotlighted that failure to pay this unemployment allowances in many states. Okay, and they also recommended to increase the wages of this MGNREGA. Okay, so these are some important things which are mainly highlighted in this article. And now let us try to see this infographic. So this infographic I collected, okay, from my database, that from our earlier Hindu analysis itself. So if you're talking about this infographic, which mainly says that it is out of funds. So many states in our country like here Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and as well as Andhra Pradesh and some northeastern states, they are mainly running out of the funds here. And some states they went for 100% utilization of allocated funds for this MGNREGA till 2020, till October 29, 2021. Okay, so what happened here means, so there is increasing of demand for this MGNREGA that is seen because of urban to rural migration induced because of this abrupt nationwide imposition of lockdown due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so here this chart which mainly shows about the allocated funds under this MGNREGA for this 2020, which already been utilized, and total expenditure which is including payment due, which is very much high. Okay, and some states which are also having some negative list as well. So if you're talking about importance of this MGNREGA scheme, so if you see this image, you can easily understand that. So when we want to attain this or achieve this sustainable development goals, there are 17 sustainable development goals that are present. To achieve this 17 sustainable development goals, so this MGNREGA is very helpful to achieve 8 out of the 17 developmental goals. So first one is no poverty. So whenever here this scheme which is providing employment means, so it will be providing some sustainable income such that we can also decrease some level of poverty. And even whenever the people they are getting money means, they will be going for making demands in the market and they will be also getting the proper food so that there will be zero hunger. And whenever they are getting money means, they will be having money in their hands and they will be going to hospital if there is any problem, such that the good health and well-being will be ensured. And even people, they will be sending their children for the schools whenever the parents are getting a proper employment. Okay, proper employment guarantee, then they will be also sending their children to school such that the quality education that can be available, and even that will be helpful for gender equality. And even this MGNREGA will be ensuring decent work and economic growth of our country, and as well as it will be also focusing on creation of assets, okay, such that we can also go for some innovations like domestic industries, or sometimes we can also go for some cottage industries in the villages. And next one is it will be also helpful for reducing of inequalities. So these are sustainable development goals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. So these goals are addressed by this MGNREGA, and you can write this sustainable developmental goals in your mains answer as well. And now let us try to see next infographic. So if we are talking about this MGNREGA, so it is mainly providing 100 days of employment guarantee, right? So after providing the employment, then they will be also focusing on asset creation. So whenever there is increasing of agriculture wages, okay, whenever they are getting the proper wages, that will be also leads to empowerment of women, and even that will be helpful for upliftment of this marginalized sections of people like scheduled castes and as well as scheduled tribes. And even that will be reduce the migration from the rural areas to urban areas, such that that will be also reducing socio-economic consequences as well, and will be also helpful for reducing of poverty, and will also leads to financial inclusion as well. And next one is it will be also helpful for creation of this sustainable assets. So these are some important advantages of this MGNREGA scheme. So when you are talking about this MGNREGA scheme, it is having a great potential such that there is a need of increasing of allocation for this MGNREGA scheme. Okay, so this is about this topic and I hope it is very much clear. Now let us try to see yesterday's questions and explanation for yesterday's question. So first question is regarding simple majority. So if you're talking about majority, we'll be having simple majority, we'll be having effective majority, and as well as special majority. So now let us try to see the question. In the Indian context, which of the following provisions can be amended by the simple majority? So first one is acquisition and termination of citizenship. Yes. And this one is abolition and creation of legislative council. Yes. And this one is directive principles. So here fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy, they will be amended by the special majority. And this one is formation of states. Yes. So that answer will be 1 and 2. Right. So there are some important provisions that can be amended by the simple majority that are kept out of Article 368. So you have to remember that. But these directive principles of state policy and fundamental rights, they can be amended by only special majority. And next question is regarding parliamentary form of government. So in the context of India, which of the following principles is or are implied institutionally in the parliamentary government? So first one is members of cabinets or the members of parliament. So actually the members of parliament may not be the members of parliament here, because so before 6 months, okay, so even the cabinet members will not be the members of a parliament, because like after within 6 months they need to become the member of parliament. So this statement is incorrect. And next one is ministers hold the office till they enjoy confidence in parliament. It is not parliament, it is Lok Sabha. And the cabinet is headed by the head of state. Actually this head of state will be the president, and the cabinet is headed by prime minister. So here you need to select the incorrect statements. So all these are incorrect. That is answer is 4, 1, 2 and 3. And now let us try to see the next today's questions. The first question, it is regarding Article 368. So try to read these 2 or 3 statements and give your answer. And next question, it is regarding veto power. It is a very simple question. So try to answer these questions. And one small request from my side here is, please try to share my videos. I don't know why I'm not getting the views. If you're talking about different news analysis channels or there in YouTube, but they are not much effective. They are not saying much. Just they are reading and they are translating in Hindi, but they are getting much views rather than my news analysis. So I don't know what is the problem with our news analysis. So if you have proper suggestions, please let me know your suggestions in the comment box. Okay, and Rathod Science is also offering the wide range of courses. So you can visit our website and there you can see the different courses and try to enroll that courses. That will be very beneficial. So by this I am concluding, and I am once again requesting you, please share my videos in Telegram groups, and even for your friends this will be very helpful. So by this I am concluding today, and please subscribe to this Rathod's IAS Academy, and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And thank you so much.